Alright guys, my name is Goblin, and today we're going to be turning Skyrim into Oblivion with mods. We're going to split the video into two sections. First of all, we'll run through all the big content mods which add Oblivion influence content to the game. We'll actually be going into the province of Cyrodiil for a content mod which is essentially about the same size as the Dragonborn DLC. We've also got another great content mod where you get to go into the gates of Oblivion once again. Secondly, we'll run through some gameplay changes which returns Oblivion's kind of feeling and its kind of mechanics back to Oblivion. For instance, a redesigned character creation system which is more like the classic RPG kind of thing that Oblivion had going on. Just before we jump in, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss my next video, where I'll essentially be transforming Skyrim into a cooperative RPG game. We'll also be doing one of these videos for Dragon Age and The Witcher 3 soon, very soon as well. And be sure to follow me on Twitch, where I will be doing playthroughs or live streams of all these crazy little mod lists that I've created. You'll find all the links in the description. Now, the first mod we're going to be talking about is probably the greatest mod to ever be released for Skyrim, probably in the history of mods, to be honest, and that is Beyond Skyrim BRUMA. The mod essentially adds the northern part of Cyrodiil from Oblivion to the game. It's perfectly integrated into the game and the world map itself. There's no messing about here with where mods like kind of teleport you to somewhere. It's very simple. You basically travel to the most southern area of Skyrim and carry on going, and that's literally it. I mean, there's a bit of a border that you have to cross through, but that's it. What I really liked about the introduction to this mod was how the border control was very well integrated into the game. You can't just waltz through into Cyrodiil. You basically need a proper document to get past the border control. However, I was able to jump on through because of the fact that in one of my previous adventures I had completely destroyed the Dark Brotherhood. So I completed that quest where you destroy the Dark Brotherhood, and I imagined that that kind of like the guy who was not letting people through, the captain of the guard, was basically like, oh yeah, I heard about that, you're a pretty dope guy, I hope more people like you end up turning up to Cyrodiil, apart from like irritated traders and stuff. But anyway, I imagine there are many other interesting ways to earn passage. Perhaps if you are, perhaps if you complete the main storyline, or you complete another guild quest line, that probably get you in as well. It's a lot similar to how you start the Knights of the Nine storyline. You get different little dialogue messages depending on what quests and what content you've already completed. And even if you don't have anything, you could just completely kill every single Imperial soldier Garden Gate anyway. It was a very special feeling walking down the road to the city of BRUMA, since I was instantly recognizing locations from the many hours I've wasted away playing Oblivion. When I by the time when I walked into one of the taverns, for instance, it was like a precise replica of the Oblivion taverns, and it really did give me the feels. It is very well designed. By the time I got to BRUMA, I think I had picked up about like 5 different quests, so you can guarantee that this mod has a ridiculous amount of content to enjoy. What I also liked is little tip of the hat moments to to Oblivion. I walked into BRUMA, and there was some Falmor agents getting annoyed at the Chapelton guy because he still worships Martin Septon. Apparently Martin Septon's actually worshipped in Cyrodiil as a god, who's one of the major characters voiced by Sean Bean in Oblivion. But anyway, let's move on to the second mod. Our second content mod is the Oblivion Realm series. Now, this is a series of 2 mods, starting with the Gate of Solitude to the, I think there's another Oblivion Gate which opens outside of Morphel as well. So be sure to download them both and give them a spin. They're very well made mods and a lot of fun. This is a very difficult quest over, focused dungeon crawl set within a realm of Oblivion influenced by the Oblivion realms you get to travel through in Oblivion. But it is a very high level quest. It is recommended that you be at least like level 35, so it is quite challenging content. There's a lot of Daedra and Dremora knocking about in a big world to explore. So but yeah, normally like whenever you bump into Daedra, there's a lot of them, right? So you need to be a pretty hard character to deal with that kind of thing. Also has a lot of custom music, and I like how it brings back a lot of the old sound effects from Oblivion into the game. Just as a side note, you may also want to play the Dremora Overhaul and Playable Race mod alongside this, so you can actually play as a Dremora. So one of the most iconic challenges in Oblivion was the Imperial City Arena. Skyrim was actually going to have its own version of the Oblivion's arena in Solitude, but the content just kind of got cut from the game before release, but you can actually go and teleport to where the arena was going to be. That's how people kind of found out about it. But luckily there is a very well designed mod with absolutely phenomenal perfect voice acting called Faction Pit Fighter. To be honest, this mod is a lot more fun than the original arena from Oblivion. You can fight in multiple different locations like orc strongholds, bandit fortresses, and even on a ship. You won't just fight other gladiators either. Occasionally the game will put you up against a number of different challenging monsters like giants and saber-toothed tigers. One of my favourite quests from Oblivion was the Knights of the Nine DLC. Luckily some nice guy has modded a very authentic looking version of the armour from the questline into Skyrim. I've always liked this armour set. It's probably one of my favourites because it's the only set in the game which basically looks very accurately historical, like it's very authentic to a more medieval style of armour. The rest kind of look a bit, obviously it's a fantasy game so that's why I'm not complaining about it, but obviously a lot of them don't really look that medieval, the armours in the game, they look a bit silly. There's a small objective to prove your worth, you know, you're worthy of the armour as part of a mod. There's also two versions of the armour, there's a white version and a black version. And it's one of those mods which just, it's not one of those mods which just plant the armour into, you know, the blacksmithing thing and you just go and craft it. You know, you do actually have to go and do something to obtain the armour, which I definitely like. For the second section of the video, I'm going to be running through some gameplay changing mods which bring back that feeling of Oblivion. Even though they're very small mods, they bring it back, if you know what I mean. Just before we jump in, guys, I'd just like to pause from the video just for a second just to draw attention to my Patreon account. If you don't know, guys, it's becoming increasingly hard to earn a living on YouTube now ever since I started earning about a third of what I used to, and now my videos are getting automatically demonetized if they have something as little as a fireplace or a sword within a video game because is deemed as advertiser unfriendly and the automatic algorithm system doesn't understand context at all. So I really appreciate it if you support me on Patreon, where you'll have the opportunity to earn certain perks and participate in future giveaways. So the first mod of this section is going to be the character creation overhaul. This mod attempts to bring back the old school RPG character creation from Oblivion, which in my opinion was way better because it actually meant you had to read a game manual and learn a few technicalities about the game before you could actually start playing it. I mean, God forbid you actually have to read something in the 21st century. The starting stats of the races have been changed to be more like the old Elder Scrolls games. For instance, high elves start with more mana and less health, and an orc starts with extra health and less mana. This means that you'll have to be more tactical about choosing your race. For instance, when I'm making a paladin class in Oblivion, I always chose a female orc because they started with the best endurance and intelligence stats. First of all, you have to choose a specialization like combat, stealth or magic, and those skills are increased about 5% faster. Then you pick your major skills, which gives you a starting boost to a selection of 7 skills, and lastly a cheeky attribute bonus, which is a plus 20 points in either stamina, health or magie. Our second mod of this section is face-to-face conversation. It's just a quick mod which replicates the dialogue view from Oblivion. I think it goes very well for when you download mods which affect the physical features of races, because you do really see faces and people in a lot more detail. I just generally find it a little bit more immersive as well. Thirdly, we have Classic Level Up, another quick mod which requires you to sleep in order to level, and this goes very well with the mod Reflection, which adds little reflective messages whenever you level up, just like Oblivion did. So yeah, just some little mods to finish off with. That's where I'm going to end the video, guys. Right now on the screen you'll probably see video links to very similar videos, which would definitely appreciate you if you check them out. My name is the Metagoblin, and until my next video, ciao.